Okay, so version 2 of the discovery process is going to be very similar to version 1 in the sense that it is going to still help you uncover all the necessary elements that you need in order to acquire the leverage that you're going to want later in the call when you're going over your offer and you're going over the collections phase where you take money at the point of sale at the end of this call. That being said, it's different in the sense that the way you're asking the questions will feel a little bit more direct. So if you're a little bit of a different personality type, this version could be better off for you. So my suggestion would be to just listen to the role play that we have in this video and then read through this framework to be able to see if you prefer this method or not. This one is a little bit shorter than version 1, but again, both are gonna help you uncover the necessary elements you need. It's just about seeing which one better fits your style. So without further ado, let's get into the role play and I'll see you guys in a sec. Before we transition into the role play, if you've already found this video helpful, I actually included the sales script to go along with this video in the description below, as well as other helpful resources that you can visit to help you elevate your sales game. All right, let's get into the role play. All right, cool, Frank. So I know you mentioned that obviously what attracted you getting on this call with me today was to generate more appointments, fill up the calendar. I'm just curious, like, what significance does that have for you? Like, how many appointments exactly? And what would be the most ideal outcome if you got those appointments on the calendar?
Yeah, so good question. And I have given this some thought. So I'm looking for about 10 to 12-ish appointments a week. That would be a huge win for me. And I'm obviously selling a $7,500 program. So, I mean, if I can just close one of those a week, I'll be in a better spot than I am now.
Okay, cool. So, what have you done so far to address it? I'm sure this wasn't your first.
Yeah, good question. Been asking for referrals more. So I get a lot of word of mouth referrals. So I've been asking more. I know that you can only get it if you ask, right? Mm-hmm. Been okay. Downloaded and I set opt into a bunch of this cold outbound type stuff, but whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it may be. And not too much success with that. I mean, I honestly probably didn't even use it the right way, but it's just not my style. Tough to sales training when you're doing cold outreach, in my opinion. So yeah, so not much. I mean, I give my VA a couple, a script to use for people inside our Facebook group, but other than that, yeah, no, nothing much.
Okay. Can you walk me through what your process looks like right now?
Sure. So, I mean, I'll give you the rundown. A lot of what I'm doing right now is servicing my 20 active clients. It's a combination of one-on-one calls as well as group coaching. So it's a lot of my day. I get a lot of word of mouth, a lot of referrals in the sense of like maybe 1 to 3 clients a month just come from word of mouth referrals. So that just hits my inbox. And when it comes to outbound in my process, I mean, really, I've just been twiddling my thumbs, making less money every month. And that's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah, I'd want to find a solution too. The revenue is going down every month. How long has it been on your radar to fill up the calendar?
I would say, again, ever since I did that Facebook group launch about 4 months ago, I've been thinking about how do I make this a business where I don't have to do a launch once every 6 months to succeed, right? Like, how can I have leads coming in every single day instead of like once every quarter, right? So about 4 months.
Yeah, because you have open enrollment, right? Like people can sign up throughout the year whenever they want.
Yeah, and then I'll do like a massive push once every quarter, once every 6 months. I'll do like a challenge or something and get the Facebook group on a webinar and sell a bunch of people type thing.
Cool. All right. Yeah. All right. So what happened 4 months ago? Because I know this has been on your radar for 4 months. What happened to trigger you saying like, man, I got to fix this shit. My calendar is not full enough. Like, what happened?
Yeah. I mean, I did one of those launches like I always do. And I had the lowest sign up rate that I've ever had. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, now I got to wait another 6 months to make any type of money. Like, that's just not okay. So, I made enough money to be able to service the clients and live comfortably, but not where I want to be. So I realized I needed to try something else.
Okay. And try something else. Like, so all you've done, like you said so far, is just like download those free things, like the LinkedIn automation. And is there anything else outside of that, or is that all you've done?
Yeah, just downloaded the LinkedIn automation. I've also done cold outbound in other Facebook groups. I've done posts inside my Facebook group. Again, it's just like I don't have a top of the funnel in terms of new people entering my ecosystem, and that's the biggest problem, and that's why we're on this call.
Okay, and what do you feel like hasn't worked with that? Like, has let you down? Is it just that you have to do the outreach, or you haven't found someone to do the outreach? Like, what specifically has let you down with those?
I just don't think what I'm selling is best sold through cold outreach. I think that I need more people familiar with my brand and who I am to be able to sell what I'm selling. So I don't really align myself with it. So I'm not going to sit here and say cold outreach doesn't work, but it's not for me and for this business. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, if you think you made it pretty clear that like that launch, like just flip the switch for you to it's got to be a priority to fix now. So can you help me a little bit better understand like what type of impact has this had on your business over the last 4 months, not being able to just have consistent flow coming in?
Yeah, so that launch I did 4 months ago was the worst launch in terms of top line revenue that we've ever done in the last like 3 years, right? So that affected a lot of, things that I would do in terms of like allocating cash. And it also kind of, I guess, put some panic on me, like, okay, I'm not going to wait another 6 months to do another one of these. I need money now. So that's when I started kind of exploring other options on how I can make this. Yeah, hey, what if I could just take 2 private calls a day, like 2 sales calls a day of people that know who I am and want to buy my thing? Like, how do I solve that problem? And then after going through the ringer, I got approached by Kevin or your appointment setter and, or however it was, one of your team members, right? And they told me, you guys have the answer to my problems. So we're on this call, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out soon. Is that the truth or not? So,
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. So can you walk me through what the revenue looked like over the last 4 months? You said that it was the slowest launch, but has that been a steady decline? Have you still been stagnant? Like, what's the revenue been like over the last 4 months?
Yeah, we did about 60K top line on the day of the launch or the week of the launch. And then every month after that, it's been dropping about 20,000. And so, month one was probably 60, then it was 45-ish, then it was 20, 25, and then 20, 25 again. And then this month's really not looking too good. We'll be lucky to hit 20. And that's a combination of just recurring payments of existing clients, as well as like 1 to 3 new sales from like word of mouth. Right. But if I can just find a system that I'm getting an extra 4 or 5 sales a month, I will be in a great spot where I could potentially scale this if I wanted to.
Cool. Okay, cool. What's your deadline to find it? Seems like you've really prioritized find something to make this work. What's the deadline?
It's a good question. I like to think that I've got a pretty good eye for things and a gut feeling for things. So if it feels right, I'm going to do it the day of. So I feel like it should have been done yesterday. It's just a matter of finding the right solution and giving it a shot. So, I mean, I'm ready to rock now.
All right, man. Well, my question is like, what happens if you don't then? What if you don't find the thing?
It's not an option. We're going to find it one way or the other.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, walk me through an exercise real quick then before we get ready to move on to the rest of the call, and I share with you exactly how what we can do will work for this particular scenario you found yourself in. But on the flip side, if you did find the solution 4 months ago where the lead flow is consistent, what impact would that have had? Like, what would that have looked like?
Good question. I mean, I definitely just more sales equals more top line, immediate top line, as well as recurring revenue. So, I mean, just overall, more peace of mind probably, and better cash flow in terms of, more cash flow in terms of top line and bottom line revenue. So, yeah, peace of mind would be probably the biggest thing too, because it's not like we're struggling with cash. It's just not where I want it to be. But, sitting here hoping hoping that somebody knocks on your door is not the best feeling.
Nah. No, and we've been there too. Like a few years ago, we went through the whole thing where we just completely relied on word of mouth, and it was awesome because every client closed like immediately. But yeah, then we wanted to start scaling a team. We had more ambitions with like what type of reality we wanted to live. And, the current revenue was a cutting it. So I remember being in your shoes and we had to figure out paid traffic. And then we found out that we love paid traffic, and we found out like this needs to be the service we deliver. So, I was in your shoes, I get it. And, here we are today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, let's talk next steps. I want to walk you through our process and how it can help you fill up the calendar, get the 12 appointments a week, see if it aligns with you. I know you said you wanted to try to fix this like yesterday. Realistically, like how committed are you to that for real on like a scale of 1 to 10? Because we hear that a lot, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, I'm ready to go. It's just, I guess, what do the numbers look like?
Okay, let me break those down for you. Right before I do, are there any obstacles in your life right now that would stop you from actually like pursuing this 100%?
No, I'm ready to go on it. I mean, honestly, it should have been something that I tried 2 months ago. So nothing would get in the way other than the price and the numbers not making sense.
All right, man. So cool. Well, in that case, let's see how we can address this lead flow issue and see if it aligns with you, how we do things.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. Like how many appointments exact? Okay, so I will say between discovery process version 1 versus version 2, I'm an advocate for version 2 because when I go into a sales call, I need to know a couple fundamental elements, and it's going to be where does this person want to go and where are they currently at, and then my question stack is going to form the bridge to get them from where they're at to where they want to go. So that's why I like to open up with this particular question on looking for what the impact would be from their most ideal outcome, so they can paint the destination for me, paint the picture of the thing that they want in detail. Makes it a lot easier to be able to sell because it's easier to sell when the emotion's high. So get them to paint the destination for you. What have you done so far to address it? I'm sure this wasn't your first. We went over this in the last discovery process version 1, but it's so important to make sure you're dealing with an avatar that is already at stage 1 and get them to 10. Because if they're at a stage 0, they've never taken any action, it's very tough to be able to get them to want to spend money or want to say yes on the first call because they're not familiar with already buying something. They're not familiar as much with taking risk. So that avatar is harder to sell to, getting someone from 0 to 1 than it is selling from the avatar that has already taken risk and spent money to solve their problem and get them from 1 to 10. Can you walk me through what your process looks like right now?
Sure. So
this is us figuring out where they are currently. Okay. So remember I told you that we needed the destination and the starting point. So this way we know we can start building a bridge to get them from where they are to where they want to go. Let's keep going. Cool. All right. Yeah. All right. So what happened 4 months ago? Okay, perfect. So see what we did there? We got the timeline first. Like how long has it been a problem? How long ago did they want to fix it? How long they've been experiencing it, right? But now we need to know what was the trigger? What was the trauma that caused you to want to start taking action to solve the problem? That is very important, almost even more so than the amount of time that they've been sitting on this problem.
Yeah, just downloaded the LinkedIn automation.
You'll notice I do that all the time throughout a sales call. Like it never stops. If I ever believe that somebody says something, they haven't said any more than that one thing, I never take it for face value. I want to know what else. What else have you done? What else you're not telling me? What else do you believe isn't relevant that you shouldn't tell me? I need to figure this out. More times than not, the way humans operate is they quickly normalize a regular occurrence that happens to them, and they won't mention that to you because they don't believe it has any importance in what's going on. That's why I like to dig deeper, because I want to know the things that they believe are not a priority, because a lot of times they are, and they're the most things overlooked, and they're the real root of the problem. That you have to do the outreach, or you have to find someone to do the outreach, like what's so important. If somebody says they've been doing something, again, we need to figure out what is going on. We need to know, why didn't it work out, right? What was the thing that you believe you got because somebody could get a solution, but they believe they got something different in that solution than somebody else? So we need to see what they believe they got as it relates to deliverables in that solution. So this way we can know, okay, this is what didn't work for them. This is what they liked about it. So now I can say as a sales rep in my mind, do not mention the things they don't like or don't believe in, and talk more about the stuff they like and do believe in. I know, it's crazy, right? A lot easier to do when you have all the answers to the test, which the prospect will give you if you ask the right questions at the right time in the right way.
Can you help me a little bit better understand, like, what type of impact has this had on your business over the last 4 months? Not being able to just have consistent flow coming in?
Yeah, so
that line's powerful, y'all. I mean, you heard me say this in Discovery version 1 in the other video, but it's so important not to sound salesy. Don't ask, well, how does that make you feel? Well, what's that done for you in the last 6 months? Can you, so salesy, okay? It's so much easier to ask the question different. We're in the 21st century, y'all. You gotta ask it differently. Can you help me better understand the impact that's had on you over the last 4 months? And don't say on you, say this specifically, like your business or your love life or your family or your whatever the problem is, right? In this case, his business is the problem. So it's very important to make sure you ask that in the right way and don't sound salesy, because then their guard will go up. It's gonna be a lot harder to advance the conversation to get the outcome you want, which is a closed deal.
I will be in a great spot where I could potentially scale this if I wanted to.
Cool. Okay, cool. What's your deadline to find it? Seems like you've really prioritized find something to make this work. What's the deadline?
Got to check for urgency. You got to know how long they're giving themselves to solve this thing. It'll let you know how urgent it is for the problem to be solved. And remember, when you can increase the perceived value of something, which is quantifying the upside, creating a large gap of that upside potential versus your cost. So if it's $1 million problem, $5,000 cost, it's very easy to justify. Quantifying the downside, where their entire business or reality could implode if they don't solve this in 2 days. That's very high urgency. So $5,000 also is creating a gap to the downside. So the $5,000, whatever your product cost is, also does not seem like a very big number. So very important to make sure you do an urgency check on how soon they're trying to get this thing solved. And by the way, please don't ask your urgency questions in a way that says, how bad do you want this? Or how serious are you? Don't do it, okay? Man, that's so outdated. It's very important to do it in this way.
It's not an option. We're gonna find it one way or the other.
Okay, cool. Well, walk me through next.
That's something else I'd love to do. If I can see that friction could take place where I ask a question, they don't give me a direct answer, I'm not gonna keep harping on it. If I can see that there's some friction type energy coming into play, I'm gonna laugh to defuse that. I'm gonna derail that train of thought. I'm going to, the sales terminology is regain the frame. So I'm gonna regain the frame by using humor and laughing to be able to re-neutralize our energy in the call. So now we're about to neutral.
I guess more cash flow in terms of top line and bottom line revenue. So yeah, peace of mind would be probably the biggest thing too. It's not like we're struggling with cash. It's just not where I want it to be. But sitting here hoping hoping that somebody knocks on your door is not the best feeling.
Nah. No, and we've been there too. A few years ago, we went through the whole thing where we just.
So important, tell stories in your discovery process. I talk about this in the discovery process version 1 video, but it's so important. I like to tell 3 different stories typically within a discovery process: a story about something that happened to me, a story about something that happened to a client, and a story that happened to somebody that a third party told me about, that I heard about through them. So these 3 things are very congruent as it relates to the concept of showing somebody testimonials prior to the actual sales call taking place to build that trust, except it's more powerful now in the discovery process because you can add detail into the story. So you're walking them through this and it becomes really real to them. So very important, you're controlling the consumption of what they hear and the amount of detail that they hear. And the more detail, the more real something becomes. Very important to do that. Let's get back into the role play.
See if it aligns with you. I know you said you wanted to try to fix this yesterday.
And you'll notice here, similar to the intro, I'm adding a lot of ums, uhs, pauses. I'm humanizing the entire experience. So it doesn't feel like I'm reading from a script. It just feels like a real genuine consultative conversation. but I'm reading from the script, the one I gave you.
Address this lead flow issue and see if it aligns with you, how we do things.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool, so that's the end of Discovery Process version 2. Again, my personal favorite, more direct. I like the way these questions are stacked that I put together here. These are both for different, types of personalities, version 1, version 2. I personally like version 2, just flows really well for me. And I'm more of a more direct person. So that's all we got for this. Let's go into the next stage of the sales call and review that part of the sales call. Hey, thanks for watching all the way through. I hope this video was helpful for you. I make these videos to help everyone elevate their sales game, make more commissions, and generate record-breaking sales months of revenue. And just do me a quick favor, just go down, like the video, drop a comment of what your biggest takeaway was, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have a friend that's struggling in sales, you feel like this would help them, share the video. I wanted to drop a few more resources for you in the comments. If you do not already have my sales script on what we went over with this video, go down below in the comments. You can download it completely for free. And I also included a handful of other resources, some free, some paid, but this way you can accelerate your sales game even faster beyond what you are just watching these videos. So anyway, I'm hyped. Hope this helps you close more deals, and I'll see you on the next one.